Slàinté, y'all. Welcome to Scotch on the Bayou Live this Tuesday night. So glad we are here again. It has been a whirlwind of a couple of weeks and we're not done yet. So, no, super excited about tonight. We're going to talk about some glassware because I got a little bit of a surprise. I'm not going to say this isn't self-serving to a certain degree, but I think we all, have our preferences on glasses when it comes to whiskey. And I kind of wanted to kind of go through some of mine and then also listen to what you all think and what your favorite glasses are. Because the glasses can get out of hand real quick, real quick. So that's what we're going to be talking tonight. We're going to also do a recap on the crazy couple of weeks we've had with our special friend, Mark Broda. I think he's in tonight with his trip here. Oh man, it was so much fun. Recap of the Louisiana Bourbon Festival that was this past weekend. And I've got another event coming up Saturday. So it just keeps coming. But I want to say, let's go to the chat and see who all, speaking of the devil, Tomar was the first. I did see that. Yes. And, but we love Tom. Who's first now? Yeah, you jumped in there. Broda, thanks so much. We had so much fun. Martin, totally understand. Hope you feel better. Oh goodness. There's some stuff going around. Hope you feel better. I would say hot toddy if you have to go that route. Yeah. Hey Trooper, good to see you, friend. And I have no idea where in the world you are. It's almost like where's Waldo when it comes to Trooper. We never know where his job takes him everywhere. And my friend over in H Town, in my we get in more trouble where you don't have to call anybody for bail money. I want to make that stipulation very clear. No one has had to get us out of the pokey yet, but I think we're safe. We're not that bad, but Jennifer and I are going to be headed to the great Northwest in January. We're going to the Victoria Whiskey Festival and super stoked because there's another guy down here who I'm going to get to see to do that for sure. So, and what do you have in your glass? But some Ardnamurchan. Man, I got to have some of that this weekend. My buddy Nate, who shared that 30-year-old Kalila, that Nate, he also shared some Ardnamurchan and some other really good things, including that Kilkerran port cask, which I came really close to stealing his bottle. Oh goodness. Hey, Too Slow, thanks so much. And thanks for being a member. Yeah, we've got quite a few members. We're up to 15 now. I'm so proud. Thanks, John. Good to see you here too, my friend. So, so for a change, Glenmorangie 14, $35. That is a steal. And I thought I was getting a good deal at 45. Wow, that's spectacular. Yeah, and you'll have to tell me what kind of glass you got that in, Trooper, for sure. So, Chad, who we will see at Victoria Whiskey Festival, a wheat pour of Glenallachie 2006 15-year KWM cask. Help me out what that is. It's a retreatment. Is it a retreatment of the cask? Tell me what that is. Awesome. Another guy from that way. Hey, Gregor, it's good to see you. So good to see you. Yeah, we're super excited. Having an old Fitzgerald 9 bourbon. Y'all, I had a lot of bourbon this past weekend. I don't know if you feel the earth shake a little bit. But it was really pretty tasty. I gotta say it. Taking Sugar Kitty's advice and drinking more coffee. Hey, Andrew. Well, it's the middle of the night for you, friend. To stay up, I guess you can. You need to take some coffee. And Stacy's here. Awesome. Y'all check out 4-Leaf Whiskey on YouTube. She's your Irish hookup. I'm going to tell you, she's the one who can tell you what Irish to gravitate to next. Hey, Sugar Kitty. Not advice for everybody, but sure was last week. Yeah. It's actually chilly here. We built a fire out in the backyard and, a little little fire pit thing. And it's actually cool enough in South Louisiana to have a fire now. But thank y'all for being on tonight. Hey, Bob. Bob's here. And Carlos, good to see you, friend. Thanks for all the comments you've been leaving. I really appreciate it. That's awesome. Yeah, we're excited about the fall and drams and events and all of this fun stuff. Like I said, we had a really big event with the Louisiana Bourbon Festival this weekend. Hey, Jimmy Jazz, everybody got your Glencairn. Well, you got your Glencairn emoji, so I'm wondering if you're drinking out of a Glencairn. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So Bob has got an Highland Park single cask Empire State. Oh man, I've only seen those on TV. It's so hard to find. I've got the one cast strength that Andrew and I did the review on at the camp. But those special city version of cast strength, single cast, I haven't seen one of those in real life at all. Doug H, hey, nice to see you. It was Doug. It was great seeing you. It was really cool. I got to see you and Jason, and it was really awesome. Just met some really cool people and found some really open-minded bourbon folks who wanted to hear about Scotch. So session went great. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Hey, Chuck, good seeing you. Thanks for being here. You have to let me know what you're drinking too, friend. The Kensington Wine Market. You're teaching me all about this spectacular place where they have a magical whiskey up there in Canada. So I'm looking forward to learning more about that for sure. Goodness, looking through. Yeah, so glassware. I don't think I'm alone in this affliction, but I have a glass problem. I have a lot of glasses. I have a lot of glasses. All those who have a lot of glasses, raise your hand. And truth be known, and I'll fess up right here now. I had a glass problem before I started drinking Scotch because I liked cocktails and I love groovy, swanky swigs, as they call them, the kind of groovy 60s glasses. I have some really cool groovy amoeba pilsners. I have some colored aluminum martini glasses, some tiger stripe martini glasses. Are you getting the scene the pattern here? So glassware is an issue, but it seems when you start drinking whiskey, you start accumulating a lot of glasses. And it gets you thinking, like, you have all of these, but do you use them all? And if you do, what way do you use them? And does it help the whiskey out one way or the other with one particular glass over another? And so that's that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. It's not going to be a scientific thing. So Greg Whiskey Studies, I'm going to try to grab that link here in a bit. I'll put it in the chat in the comment section for sure once this video is posted. But Greg's Whiskey Studies, he's over in Paris. He did an extensive trial and error with a set of glasses. So I would say that's a really good resource to kind of get into the nitty gritty of this. But we're just going to kind of go over what we have, what I'm using, and what I want to hear what you all think about this. We'll kind of go through a bunch of different ones, and then we'll narrow down to a few, and then I'm going to pour whiskey in them and just kind of go through them to see how they do, whether or not the nose stays well within the glass or if it affects the taste or anything like that. Oh goodness. So hey, Michael, good to see you in here. Conversation about oh dear, I'm the only one that's drinking my Scotch. I don't ever put it in a glass. You go straight from the bottle. Oof, how do you get a nose off of that, friend? That's funny. So I have a lot of glasses, but they're almost all Glencairns. And I think we can right out of the gate, we can say that's the gold standard, right? It is the gold standard. Not drinking tonight, but you have a Stolz's tasting glass. Oh, from the Sippers Social Club. Say that 5 times fast. I don't think I can. The Glendale whiskey nosing class is your favorite. Easy to buy, short stem, still a tulip size. Style. I have to look at that at Glendale. To write that one down. Because I'm always like, I need another glass, but I'm always interested. It's like anything, right? You have a favorite pen. These are my favorite pens. They're friction pens. I can write them, and if I mess up, I can like erase it. I love those pens. You get to the point where you like a particular glass, that you really want to do and go and use that one. Bring glasses home from festivals and distillery tours. Yes. So my last trip over, I think I brought 9 pieces of glassware home between little pitchers and different types of glasses. They all made it. An antique beer glass collection before I started drinking whiskey. Way too many glasses. So many glasses. Yep. Oh, the little, I think I have one of those, Stacy. The little, they don't have a base. They're just, wait, do I have one? This is a Starlight one, but it's almost like that. But it has a little bit more heft to it. Those Stranahan glasses. I remember those for sure. Speaking of glasses, there's a new all white Glencairn edition. All white Glencairn. So kind of like the colored versions that you can do a blind. This is all white. Ooh, must resist. It's tough. I've tried to justify to myself to do a blind. Like, I need those blind glasses. I'm going to do blinds. I need the blind glasses. I haven't pulled the trigger on them just yet. Not just yet. Oh, so, also have I'm guessing it's pronounced Tuath, Irish glasses. I've heard those. They're beautiful. Love the way those look. Absolutely. Hey, Richie, good to see you here, friend. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. And I tend to like the Glencairn or a Capita. I know you're a Capita girl. However, I may or may not have been guilty drinking Highland Park out of a coffee thermos at the Renfest this past weekend. No judging. You had Highland Park at a Renfest. That you're winning right there, friend. Absolutely winning. So come to appreciate the wider round bottom Glenlivet glass, aka the Canadian Glencairn. Also found joy in the Capita style. A fan of the Dewey Crystal Dram Face. Okay. Huh. I have to look into more. I know which one you're talking about on the Canadian. It is a little wider to where it's there. But there's all kinds of kind of crazy things out here. So I'm going to attempt something and hopefully I won't make a mess. So I'm going to show you. I have a tray with a menagerie of some of my glasses, and then we'll just kind of go through them, and then I'll narrow those down again, like I said, and then we'll pour some because I want to see. So, ta-da! I was never in the service industry. God love and appreciate all those who ever did that, but carrying a tray is not in my physical skill set. That's very well. So I just kind of want to, we'll run through some of these. So this is, our gold standard of a Glencairn, right? And then over here we have a Capita that came from Ardbeg. So you've got that same tulip style, right? And then this one is kind of hidden in here. This is from the Scotch for Dummies Highland Park dinner that they did. This is kind of like that one that Gregor's talking about. It's very heavy on the base, wider at the base, and more open in the front. This rocks glass. This is one that one of my 1960s, really groovy with the fleur-de-lis, of course, because we're Louisiana. So you got to have that. And then still kind of in the tulip style. I can't believe I hadn't dropped this yet. Is this one is from Oban. So again, you've got, it's whiter at the top than a Glencairn, but still kind of that bulbous tulip. Here's a Teen Nightsy little festival from the Bachelor's Ball. Glencairn right here. And this one is particularly cool. This was a Goodwill find. This is, let me hold it down here so you can see. This is an actual 1960s Old Crow glasses. I just absolutely adore them. I don't know if you can see it very well with the little guy with the little crow. He is adorable. Then you have, like I said, so then you have, okay, a shot glass. That's good for one thing. We know what that's good for, right? This is from Smoke and Barrel a couple years ago. This is a Norland glass. We'll talk about those. And it's kind of got these fluted fins on the inside, double wall, insulated. Here's one from Starlight that we got. It's pretty common at a distillery tour. And then, drum roll, here is the new Scotch on the Bayou barrel taster. So that looks a little strange. I look a little strange up in there. So let me put this down before I drop it. Okay. So we'll get to those. But yeah, so looking at that, that's a bunch of glassware. And my arm is tired. So looking at all of those, let's start with rocks glasses first. So these are two of my old versions. I just absolutely love this. It's like this silver and kind of sugared glass. Oh yeah. They're so pretty. You know, and I think the glass has to fit the function, right? And you can pour whiskey neat in these, of course. But to me, these are a cocktail. This is an old fashioned. This would be a beautiful old fashioned glass. When my cousin Kyle comes, I'm gonna throw him under the bus again. I'm not judging. He and I do this. It's okay. He needs an ice cube. An ice cube can fit in this. An ice cube can't really fit in a Glencairn, you know? So that's not really the function of the Glencairn. So when you go back to what are you wanting to get the glass to do? Is it to hold something neat, or is it to, to actually make a cocktail or something like that? It's important. So these old ones, I can't go to a thrift store without looking at the glass section. I mean, that's usually the first place I go. I have found Glencairns, in my local Goodwill or Salvation Army thrift stores. So you just never know. But rocks glasses. Does anyone really? Let me know in the chat and in the comments if you primarily drink your Scotch or neat whiskeys in a rocks glass, and let me know. And we talked about a shot glass. And this is the one we get. We have gotten at each of the previous Smoke and Barrel, which is a festival that they're going to have in like Charles this weekend. Then I'm going to go see my friends, and we'll go to that. And they pour, all the different, and it's a good measurement glass, of course, for a whiskey event. But you're not getting a whole lot of nose off of this. I mean, it's just poof and it's gone, It's cool. You could use this as a weapon. It's so heavy. But it's, to me, this is a fireball glass. This is get your drink on. This is not, I keep them. I got to keep them because I think about, it was so much fun that year. And I think after this year, I'll have a set of 4. So, yeah. So I don't know, shot glass wise, you might use those to do a small tasting, but to me, that's not going to keep a lot of aroma in the glass. So let's see who else is here. So yeah, Jennifer was talking to Stacy. She's a big wine gal. Oh, yeah. God, all the spots are doing some really cool things right now. New glasses. See, I'm gonna corrupt you. I can't help it. Yes, product placement is important, isn't it? The Norland glass is awkward for me. So yeah, let's talk about that one. The Norland glass. And I do think I wanna use this in one of the comparisons. So Richie, is it because the lip is so like thick? Because that was the thing I didn't really realize when we got these. So we bought 2 sets of these. This is the lone survivor out of 4 because 3 of them like bit the dust real quick. Super. I mean, they're hand blown. They're blown glass, and it's glass inside a glass. But this lip is very thick. It's not a thin mouth feel kind of. I don't know how I'm gonna say that in mixed company, but anyway, you can kind of see how it's squared at the bottom. Maybe that might be a better way to see it. And on the inside, there are these little fins. See, like you see right there. And supposedly, when the whiskey's in it and you're swirling around, it helps aerate the whiskey more and allowing like the nose and the alcohol to bloom off of it easier. And it's purportedly allows it to be sipped easier, having bloomed that alcohol off. I don't know. But I think that is one of our contenders. It's definitely a specialty type glass. I've even seen the ones, another kind of agitated feature of a glass. There's some that have like the glass is in the shape of a mountain range on the bottom, on the inside bottom of the glass, so that it provides an obstruction for the whiskey to go across and kind of again agitate it like that. So, but yeah, with the fleur de lis glass, shouldn't be drinking a Vucare. Yeah, actually, Andrew, I've had quite a few of those down here. But as folks may not know, in South Louisiana, it's very French oriented. We have a lot of French influence, and Acadian influence, from when, French speaking Canadians, came down to Louisiana. We won't get into the politics of that right now, but yeah, I mean, there's some really good cocktails, that you can make in these. So good. Had to do ice once, for cold suppresses, damps down. Yeah, it really. I like a warm whiskey. I was in preparing for this. I was doing a lot of reading, and one place even said, if your whiskey's too hot for you, think about putting your glass in the freezer first. And there was a personal shriek of terror that came out of me that kind of startled me. But again, that's me. I don't want to judge anybody who may want to freeze their glasses before they put whiskey in it. But I like my whiskey warm. I mean, like room temperature, not heated, of course, but warm. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, and going back to the Norland glass, it's fragile, no problem, but nosing is fantastic. Sipping's awkward. It is. It's a lot there. Definitely so. So Andrew, you've tried the New Orleans Trice one side by side at Glencairn at a tasting, and other time gifted a pair and made him pour mine into a rocks glass instead. Just didn't do anything for you. Interesting. They are pretty. They are pretty, but they're terribly fragile. They were really fragile. Hey Loch Ness, good to see you. Hockey, yay. I hope whoever needed to win won. Cool. Norland was hey Katie, got to see Katie and Ethan, those two fabulous people in that little icon. I got to see them this weekend, and they're embarking on a special project for me. I'm so excited. But yeah, so there was a Kickstarter project, and they just started doing their pre-order on stainless ones. Oh wow. Okay. Stainless is interesting. And I've seen that Denver and Livy, is that Denver and Livy has a stainless one as well. Cool. Would you recommend a very well washed out plastic cup from 7-Eleven? You know, the only time I've had something to drink like that from 7-Eleven was getting an icy and putting Captain Morgan in it and acting like it was just plain icy. That was in some younger days. Hey, Silverlock, great seeing you, friend. Thanks for being here. And Donner's here. Yay. Oh. Ugh. Yeah, take care of yourself on that. And I'm proud of you for going and doing that. That's not a fun thing to have done, but it's very, very important. So you get a big shout out and a Slàinté y'all for taking care of yourself, Donner. Thanks for doing that for sure. Oh, Daniel H is in. Hey, Uki poured. It's so good. It's so good. I haven't had the 2022 yet. Well, I have one, but I don't know if it's 2022. I'll have to go look. Hey, Peter. Good to see you, friend. Thanks for being here. Y'all have to tell me what glasses y'all are using tonight for sure. Okay, so rocks we talked about, shot glass we talked about, tulip glass is there's like a whole family of tulip glasses, right? And again, you know, we have our standard Glencairn. And I think, let me do this to see if it'll say yes. Our standard Glencairn. There we go. From Glengoyne. One of my other thrifty finds was at a garage sale down the street. And this house, I live in a older neighborhood. Most of the houses are from the 50s and 60s, ranch homes. And these were a set of 4 Hungarian glasses, Hungarian glass brandy snifters. And I love them. And I've taken lots of pictures of these. These have been, lots of drams have gone in these glasses, have been on Instagram, on my website. And I love them because they are about the same opening as a Glencairn. But they're, and bulbous wise, they're just a little bit shorter, you know, than that. And a coin fits on top. So just as it fits on top of a Glencairn, like that. So these I absolutely adore. I also like being able to hold on to it like that. It's nice to have this when I'm going to the camp and I'm walking down the pier, and Mark can tell you the pier is almost a football field long. But I know I'm not going to drop it. So I like brandy snifters. Is there anybody who drinks using a brandy snifter? So I think we might look at that one. So we've definitely got the Norland glass, and we've got the gold standard of a Glencairn. And then there's this Capita. Again, it's, you know, you're not moving too far from the difference in, again, there's the opening is about the same. I'm trying to see if this is just, I don't think this is a Glencairn version of the Capita. I think it's just a Capita. I don't see the, maybe not. I can't tell. Anyway, so there are those. So we'll go with, I don't know, maybe that one. You know, this is a nice little cocktail glass. Not something I'm going to sip whiskey out of for sure. Maybe like a little whiskey sour for friends. I've got a set of 4, so that'll work. And then this, again, a tulip type glass. This is that open glass. And it's got a nice heavy base. but it's basically it's much larger. So this, like a coin, falls in that. So it doesn't. I can't pour my whiskey and let it sit. And even with like a rocks glass, I don't know. I'd have to put like something over it. I don't know. I don't even know that that does anything. Um. So yeah. Let me see. Oh gosh, we got busy. um. Let's see who all has dropped in here. So Chuck says, Malt Minion says, I just bought a couple, some Capita glasses. I should test them out with the same pour of the Glencairn and compare the difference. Yes. If it's handy to do that tonight, do that tonight and let us know what you think. And let us know what you're pouring in there. So Donna says, a few years ago, bought a dozen port tasting glasses from Amazon, good price, sort of like a Capita. But what I really liked is it was a half ounce, looks like a lot in the glass compared to a Capita. Okay. So maybe a little smaller. All right. So it looks like it's like eating on a plate that's smaller. But it looks like you have more food. I like that thought process. I do. I really do. Goodness. Let's see. So like this is a long stem cordial glass for you tonight next to your favorite. Interesting. So cordial still is kind of fluted open, right? I mean, it's kind of flared out at the top, but not so much. Um, and it's very small because usually what you drink, those cordials itself, is really super sweet. Interesting. Um, let's see. Oh, awesome. I love it when everybody's talking to each other. It's great. For wide glasses, do you have any beer mats? So by beer mats, I think, are you talking about the what you talking about, Andrew? So to me, a beer mat is like the plastic kind of serrated plastic mat you put on a bar, like a bar mat. I don't know. What's a beer mat? Is that a type of glass? I feel like I should know that. Um, yeah, capitas. You kind of feel fancy. So when when Jennifer and I were at Isla, we had capitas at Ardbeg and we had them at Bricklottie. And I gotta tell you, I felt real fancy drinking a couple of uh, a couple of drams that Adam Hanna and pulled straight out of a cask in the Bricklottie Dunnage house. It was kind of cool, You're just kind of saying, "Are we all fancy up here with our with our capitas and our stem glasses?" Because he's adamant about a capita. He absolutely loves that. That's what he uses to drink his and do all their tastings for sure. Um, Most of the cool glasses I have for thrift stores, absolutely. 4 Glens for 49 cents each the other day. Dude, you can't beat that because glass is so expensive right now. It really is, which kind of brings me, so this brings me to the next one. And yes, it is kind of a plug, but I'm super excited about this, y'all. I have had Scotch in the Bayou Glencairn glasses, and they were very hard to source at a price that I wanted to be able to let people have them for. I had done like a I don't know, like 24 of them kind of in a not economical way, let's just say. And I was looking to buy a good number of them to be able to sell to help support the channel. And when I looked at Glencairn's, they were the way that they're running right now with the glass shortage, and to get them etched the way that I wanted them to, they were going to run like almost $25. And I was like, no, I wanted to look at something else. So I have a different kind of glass that's very similar. So this is the new Scotch on the Bayou. Let me turn it there. This is the new Scotch on the Bayou glass. There we go. Maybe try to get out of it here. And it's called a barrel taster, and it's got a nice wide base, and it is, again, I'm doing it. It's just a hair larger. So you can get really down in there. But the coin still fits on top. Ta-da! So you can keep those precious aromas in there until you're ready. So let's look. I'm super excited about that. Yeah, and I will have these available. They're available now. You can send me. They're going to be 18 plus shipping, and I think we've worked out where they're going to be like $6 shipping for most folks in the States. International, let me know where you are and we can figure that out. But yeah, just send me an email, scotchinthebayou@gmail.com, and we'll figure those out. But I want to go ahead and pour now. So I have a brandy sniffer, the new Scotch in the Bayou glass, which I'm going to call the barrel taster, a Capita, a Glencairn, and the Norland glass. So I'm going to leave the rocks alone because that's not a sipping glass to me. And I'm going to pour a wee bit in everything here and probably not drink all this. I'm having tonight. I didn't want to pre-pour this if I was playing with these glasses a whole lot because I was too afraid I would spill them. But tonight, my dram that I'm spilling everywhere. I wanted something with a really good nose on it because I think that was going to be a big test. And here's my dram tonight. It's a Glen Grant 18. Rare edition. Yum. I love me some Glen Grant. Okay, we've had some other folks jump up here. Oh, excuse me. I am parched tonight. Who else? Oh, let's see. It was also a fact that Adam Hannett himself poured us the drink. Yeah, had a little bit to do with it, right? Oh, man. Killer lineup. Oh, Drifting Drams. Is that Ethan? Tell me. I think that's it. Right, Katie? Yeah. So yeah, if you're looking for these new glasses, just shoot me an email and I'll figure it out. And we also have the Scotch on the Bayou coins still left. There's the front, and then the back is the Slàinté y'all with the lily pads. And then on the sides is Les Élevants Roulés, which in English means let the good times roll. It's going to come in. Anyway, so we have coins too, and they're $10. So, Whiskey Hunter's in. Hey, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're talking about glasses. So let me know what you're drinking tonight and what type of glass. For sure. So with that, I wish there was somebody else on here talking to me right now because all you're going to hear me is breathing in here for a minute. Oh, goodness. I mean, I'm getting a good nose. It's definitely in the Norland glass. It is kind of not as much nose right off the front as it is when you really stick your nose down into a Glencairn. The Capita, and again, very similar to a Glencairn, and this brandy snifter. That one got me. So I think, and this is only 43%. So I think this is actually even more concentrated. I don't know. Maybe it's because the bulb's wider. And then the new glass. I mean, you can get way down up in there. And I mean, it definitely has more room. I didn't measure this, but it's got about the same amount of liquid. It just doesn't look like it because it's wider at the base, you know? So it has more surface. The liquid has more surface right now exposed than a Glencairn. While it still has the tulip part, it's got more air to work with. Not saying if that's good, bad, you know, indifferent, just different. The nose on the Glencairn is a little stronger than this one. And again, I think that's because, you know, mainly because of the amount of air touching the liquid. Okay, interesting. So by beer mat, you mean the sort of cardboard disc. Oh, a coat. Yeah, like this. This. Yes, that's a beer mat. That's perfect to put on top of a open glass. Yeah, perfect. Okay, beer mat. We're learning. I love it. Great suggestion, Andrew. Great. You're turning into a home shopping network for cake. Yes, looks like maybe the Vanna White. Wait till you see the gift giving guide I have. I'm putting together. It's like shopping for everybody. I'm so excited. Some really cool things, some off the wall things for the whiskey lover in your life, for yourself or someone else. So I'm putting that out together pretty soon. I'm pretty stoked about that. It was. Don't particularly care for him, but it is really good. It is good liquid. I am enjoying it for sure. Katie's like, I thought you were saying, telling Ethan, what's your problem with me shopping? Clearly. So first trade. Oh, so y'all are trading and going back and forth. Oh, I love it when people are doing deals. Okay, so I'm going to do some tasting now. And I have a feeling most all of this is going to taste, well, I mean, the liquid should taste the same as the same whiskey. But as far as being able to affect the taste, well, that was interesting. This didn't taste as hot as the Glencairn did. And that may be because it did evaporate some of that alcohol off more. But on the Norland glass, I would imagine the Norland glass is going to be like that too. Because, I mean, I stick my whole nose in the Norland glass. I don't get any kind of alcohol reverb. Yeah. I mean, near the amount of kind of a punch. Well, now it's kind of there. Again, this is 43%. I wanted something kind of light. I didn't even pour 5 different cast drinks and go, yay. Watch Leanne get adorable again. Now the Capita and the Glencairn are just pretty much neck and neck. I mean, to me, they're the same thing. One on a stem or not. It depends. I mean, like, do fingerprints bother you? You know, are you always holding your Glencairn like this instead of, you know, like this? Where a Capita is more your jam because you aren't going to get fingerprints on the bulb of glass. I know there are times like I will want to hold the glass like that just to get kind of the, especially in chillier times, to get that kind of chill off of it. I'm not getting any marked difference in taste whatsoever between the glasses. Okay, what I am going to do is pour this in a rocks glass because I think the brandy snifter, it's too much like the other ones, so it doesn't really matter. And yeah, it was aerating a little while, but that you get a wafting, like a bit of fragrance off of this in the rocks glass. I mean, to me, it tastes the same, but smell wise, I'll get some more smell off of the Norland than I do off of the rocks. Yeah, I get hardly any nose off of the rocks. Okay, so I'm going to say the Capita is the same. I'm going to put that in the rocks in case it's a volume situation. Okay, what are y'all doing? Y'all are laughing. I really want. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what, Ethan and Katie and I had a real good time at Bourbon Festival. So I wanna recap too on that. Goodness. So what, we've been doing this for like 10, 15 minutes. And I still have a good nose on this glass. It's higher concentrated on the Glencairn though. And I think again, it's surface tension. It's the amount of surface air to surface ratio, air to whiskey ratio. So that's something to think about. I mean, nosing a glass that smelling those aromas is 80% of what we taste, right? So you want that experience to be the very best. Taste wise, I think they're all good. I don't have that much differentiation between those. I like the heft of the Glencairn versus the thin stem of the Capita. And that's a valid point. And it also depends on your physiology, right? If say it's a big guy, and he's built big, this may be a little dainty. It may be a little too cumbersome to even hold, where a rocks glass may justify that. Or a Glencairn, you can just pretty much hold the whole thing, and you've got a good decent base to hang on to. So that's cool. Yes, I know we need to meet at some point, friend. I love getting to meet. I'm gonna get to meet some other folks. Bill Hensley is going to be coming into town, so I'll get to meet him pretty soon. So I'm super excited about that. You need more glasses, Trooper? I can hook you up. Always need more glasses, right? Always need more glasses. Oh, that's so funny. Oh man, look who is here. Jason, was your ears burning? Because we were talking about you all weekend long. You've got to come down here next year for the Louisiana Bourbon Festival. You would lose your ever-loving mind just with the food that we would feed you, much less with all the bourbon. It's so good to see you, friend. So good to see you. But yes, we were talking about you a whole lot this weekend. I was raving about your really good Scotch palate. I mean, we all know that, your bourbons, rye, and other whiskeys inside and out, but you got a hell of a palate for Scotch. And one of the first glasses I ever bought was your glass, which is very much kind of the shape with a really cool little base to it. So it's so good to see you here. Awesome. Yeah. As you get older, I need more glasses. It's a sickness. I mean, my mom runs an antique, has an antique place, and it's like, at this point, I'm trying to go down and, trying to pare down and say, okay, Mom, put these in the shop, because there's a lot to it. So, anyway, tell me what your thoughts are. I'm kind of getting a consensus about Glencairn. I think, the Glencairn it's the gold standard for a reason, right? It is the whiskey glass. My only reason for not doing my glasses like this is, first, I'm weird and I always kind of want to do something different. But also is I wanted it to be approachable and be, you know, affordable, and without shipping it was going to be like $26. So I didn't want to do that. So with shipping, we've pretty much got that taken care of. So again, on the Scotch on the Bayou glasses, we'll have those available, and I'll have more information about that too later. So Chuck says he's going to do a glass comparison with the Glenmorangie 10, and I'm finding I'm getting more no's with the Capita versus the Glencairn. But I can't really tell a difference in the taste. Yeah, just not really there. And both of those are very much like, I mean, they're more tulip glasses. I think between the Capita, the Glencairn's a little wider at the base, but at the top, they're pretty much the same for sure. That's for sure. And let's see, looking at who else is around. Goodness. But yeah, so this past weekend was the Louisiana Bourbon Festival. A couple weeks back, we had David Steele and David and Dorothy on to Dorothy Kemp to tell us about that. And it was the first year we've had it. Our bourbon club, the Bourbon Society of Baton Rouge, in conjunction with, you know, kind of feeding into the Louisiana Bourbon Foundation, put this on. They've been trying for 3 years. They have been working so hard, and had to deal with COVID and flare-ups and everything. And they had an all-day session, two concurrent sessions running. Maker's Mark did an unbelievable science of tasting where the brand ambassador went through, actually she was their educational ambassador, went through where you taste certain things. So sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami, and where those are on your tongue when you do taste those things. And she had a whole, 25 different items that people were tasting. So then when you then taste whiskey, you can kind of help map those to the places in your mouth that you're tasting that, but also be more aware of what those flavors are, and being very cognizant of the difference between taste and flavor. That was super exciting. And so those who were there, if Doug H is still on, Katie and Ethan, y'all pipe in, because I didn't get to go to Penelope, but to that session, but I got to meet them at the tasting. The architect, whoa. Stacy, I think you had that on Instagram today. Wow, that I really enjoyed that offering of the architect. And then oh, Jason, you'd be so proud of me. I was tasting bourbon left and right. What I was really impressed with was Foregate and their casking. I just want to go with them to the Kelvin Cooperage and just be a fly on the wall. I just kind of want to go dig around all the casks, because their cask program and what they're doing, I mean, they're $200 bottles, and I believe it when they're buying those barriques and those, sherry hogshead and the different things like that. I want to pick your brain, especially Jason, about some of the things that they're doing. But they had some really cool offerings, and just hearing their story about, one of the guys just started out of, hey, he's doing blogs and he's doing reviews of whiskey, and he's like, I want to make the whiskey I want to drink, and he did. And then his partner is an LSU alum. His kid goes to LSU. So, I'm like, all right, go Tigers. This is working. So that was really pretty cool. Just really super cool. Yeah. Jason goes, yeah, some special barrels. Some special barrels. All right. So yeah, Katie's saying that the Penelope session was really fun. It's nice to learn about the brand. It really was, and yeah, that's an expensive gotcha there, Daniel. Um, but you know what? You get what you pay for, I think, in that sense. Those are gonna be special bottles, and that's not something you're gonna kill in a night for sure. I hope you don't kill any of them in a night, but um, so from there, and then trying to think. Oh, Bardstown. That was interesting. The whole story of how Bardstown started, and how it's going now and what it's doing and evolving and growing leaps and bounds. I mean, I think they said they were going to be building 14 more dunge houses, or rick houses, sorry, other way. So that was really pretty interesting, to go through. During my session, I did a session on Scotch 101. So I wanted folks to the bourbon folk to come hither and hear the gospel of the single malt. And it was a great session. People had a real open mind. And what we ended up doing is we walked through, the who, what, where, when, what makes Scotch Scotch, why is it different? What's the difference between single malt and a blend, or a single grain? All those kind of fun SWA isms. But what I ended up doing is the biggest objection people have typically to Scotch whiskey is that it's peated or smoky, and they don't like that when that's such a minority of what Scotch has to offer. So we ended up doing four flights. We started off with Old Pulteney 12. So we had a malty and briny bourbon matured whiskey that just, it was great. To me, it's a gold. It's your quintessential Scotch, right? That's your bread and butter. And then we moved over to the sweeter world into a Glendronach 12. So especially for bourbon drinkers, that's such a gateway whiskey because it gives a little bit of a sweeter note. Not with maybe there's no corn, of course, in it, but it is that sweeter note from the sherry, and that is probably, well, it's PX and Oloroso, so it's a nice balance of that. It's not super super sweet. And then we went to a blended malt, and that was the Compass Box Orchard House, and I really love that bottle. It's like $37. It's Linkwood and Klein Leash, and it has a scooch, an infinitesimal scooch of, I think it's Kalila, like 2% of the whole thing. And there was one particular woman there who I named her a super taster right there and then, because she picked it up. She goes, "Oh, this is really smoky." And I was like, "You getting smoke on this, hon?" She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting smoke on this." I'm like, Now I hadn't gotten the fourth one out yet. We just have these three. And she picked up that little bit of smoke off of it, which I was amazed. Most everyone, when they tasted it, didn't get any smoke at all, which was, I thought, quite interesting. And then I asked for everyone to have some institutional fortitude and, go big, go home, and brought out the Bruichladdich Port Charlotte 10. And I wanted them to see what peat and smoke really was, but it's super sweet on the front end, so it's this whole juxtaposition. And also get them to think, and most of these people were not Scotch drinkers. So I wanted them to think about the foods that they ate that, granted aren't going to be peated, but they're going to be smoked. Do they eat barbecue? Do they eat ribs? Do they have a smoked old fashioned? So kind of make those connections there to where that smoke is more approachable for them. If you eat like barbecue, then you're more likely to be able to make that connection to a smoky dram. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. And then from there, we went to the tasting. I think we had 35 vendors. About 400 people were there. Amazing time. Just really awesome. Katie had a bottle Another Port Charlotte special bottle in her. She had, instead of whiskey, purse whiskey, she had backpack whiskey. And then we took a friend of hers back to the room where we had everything stored. And she was one of those folks who just did not want to, Scotch was not her thing. So that night we had a conversion. I was really happy because she just needed a Scotch that wasn't peated or wasn't smoky, and I think she really enjoyed the Old Pulteney and the Glentronic. So we had a conversion, didn't we, Katie? I was so happy. It was awesome. Colleen found the light. We brought her over to the dark side of Scotch. It's awesome. But that just makes your time that you get to visit with her that much better, because it you're going to be able to share some drams of Scotch with her now. That's just awesome. Danielle says, if we could get myself, Zach, Mark, WH, oh my gosh, I mean, we may just, I'm here over Thanksgiving. We can get a little bit of that, get some of those folks together. But yeah, I'd love that. It is so much fun to get everybody together for sure. We're super excited. So I'm trying to catch up on some, and let's see. Yeah, so we're very close to 1,200 subscribers. So if you know someone, if you haven't actually subscribed, please do that. If you know someone who would like to be part of the channel, and we'd love to have them along, send them the link. That would be super. And we will definitely be doing some more. So the other update I want to give you is, let's see. Wait, it says around Christmas or after the first of the year, we'll bring some to Louisiana with us. Awesome. That would be sweet. The Penelope and Ford Gate were both awesome, informal and open. Yeah, Mike and Danny from Penelope telling us how small they actually were. Yeah, they were really something. It was very interesting to see. So Trooper, I'm glad you're getting some downtime, buddy. You're hard working. Good to see you. That you're actually getting some time. Well, thank you very much. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in, Whiskey Nose. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we're kind of wrapping up here, but I wanted to talk about Mark a little bit. Mark Broda from Scotch for Dummies. We had so much fun, y'all. So much fun. He came in Monday. We begrudgingly dropped him off at the airport on Friday. But we had a swamp tour Tuesday morning, fish fry Monday night. Tuesday morning, he and I went out with our camp neighbor, Clay, in a Go Devil, which all my Louisiana folk, they know what that is. So think flat bottom boat with a very long shaft, propeller motor, so that we got into water that was 4 and 6 inches deep. I mean, it's perfect for shallow water. Water's much lower than normal at the camp right now. And we got to see some really cool things. I think we saw over a dozen alligators. Most of them were little, some of them were like this big. There were a couple that were like maybe 6 feet long. That's not too big, but anyway, big enough, right? And then we saw Rosetta spoonbills. I got so excited. Mark was laughing at me all afternoon. I was so excited that we got to see those Rosetta spoonbills. So then we came, and he did the show with me last weekend. So check that out if you didn't get to see it, because we had a lot of fun doing that one for sure. Hey, Jim. Thanks for being here, friend. Always here. So then he and my Mark went back to the camp on Wednesday, and they went fishing. So we have a hoop nets, and our neighbor Neil, who was so gracious to take and go with Mark and Mark out to check the hoop nets, and then catch as much as they wanted to, but they had a lot of fun. And then Neil's like, well, let's go frogging. So I don't know if y'all remember Wednesday was like full moon or close to full moon. And so Mark and Neil, it almost sounds like I'm starting a joke, but it's true. They went out like in the boonies in the swamp to go catch frogs. And I don't know if the moon was out and all the frogs were at play, but there wasn't a whole lot to be found. But there was one in particular that Neil was like, okay, Mark, Broda, go ahead and get it. And he's like, okay, well, give me the net. He's like, no, man, you gotta put your hand in there and get it. And Broda's like, I ain't putting my hand in there. Are you crazy? I don't think he's still on, but he knows I'm going to talk about him. So Neil actually grabbed the frog, and the frog, when he grabbed it, he's like, I got it, I got it, I got it. And the legs were like this long, and they caught a frog. So he can say that his life is now complete because he caught a frog in the swamps of Louisiana. Y'all can only imagine him doing that, right? And then Thursday we ended up doing. He came in and they did the King of the Hill on Naked Malt and scored that. So they're working on. I think it's the sherry category this week. I'm not sure, but check them out Thursday. Scotch for Dummies as they get their King of the Hill wrapped up. And it's a oh man, that was a lot of fun. So then Friday we went to Drago. So I don't think Chris is on Everwin. Everwin, that's where you and I went, where we met you when you were in town, and we got him some char-grilled oysters and got him on the plane and set him on his way home. So we had a great time. So the next morning was the Bourbon Festival. So Sunday I didn't do much of anything and was just trying to relax. And again, this weekend I'll be going west to the west side of Louisiana to Lake Charles for the Smoke and Barrel Festival that benefits their United Way services there in the Calcasieu Parish. So, but yeah, lots of fun things, and then it's going to be Thanksgiving. Oh, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do for next week. Maybe talk about what we're thankful for heading into Thanksgiving. I know I'm very thankful for you all. Want to say thanks again for all the folks that are on and have been supporting. We've got 15 members now of Camp Drammers. So if you want to support the channel, you can hit the join button on the homepage on YouTube and help us support the channel and do some fun things. I'm so excited for the rest of this year, but even especially next year. Next year is going to be epic. Got some big stuff planned. And I really do appreciate everybody. Again, Katie, Ethan, Doug, great seeing you. Jason, if you're on afterwards, great seeing you all this past weekend. All my friends, I'm very thankful for everybody. And I'm gonna send y'all out with a Slàinté y'all and tell you, just no matter what glass you use, just know that a lot of heart and a lot of hard work went into the whiskey that is in it. Think of those that you love, tell them that you love them, and be good to yourself. And I will see you all next week. Until then, Slàinté y'all.